Tuesday. My name's Paul Church from Clarity Stamp here in the UK. How are we all doing today? Hope everybody's well. I know it takes a few minutes for everyone to sort of find us and pull up a chair. So I shall just do my usual bit of waffling to start off with until we see some sign of life just appearing up on the side. I can see we have some people looking. So good morning and welcome, or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the UK. There we go. Sound works great. Thank you, Stuart. Stuart is in the building with you today, in the virtual building. And if you have any questions, then I'll try and catch them. Otherwise, Stuart will be there to help. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Bernie. Welcome. Yeah, we're starting a new project this week. Here comes everybody. Jill, Lorraine, Tina, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to do my usual and ask what the weather's like where you all are today. Today it is raining, and then it's sunny, and then it's raining, and then it's sunny. That's been the forecast so far this week, today. Although it was like that yesterday as well. So, yeah, strange weather, considering Sunday was really, really warm. And yeah, who knows with the weather nowadays. I just get up, come to work. If it's raining, it's raining. If it's sunny, it's sunny. Just take each day as it comes. Good morning, Dawn. Good morning, Anne, Tony, Sue. So many lovely, friendly and familiar names appearing in the list. So, yes, another groovy Tuesday. Who finished off their coaster last week? I did. Well, I say last week. I finished it off this morning. Should we have a sort of a little bit of a recap of what we've been looking at over the past 12 weeks? We've worked with the Queen Elizabeth, and I think it just shows the versatility of the actual design. So let's have a look what we did. So first off, we created a very simple frame. We did a little bit of picot cutting, but we used the frame within the plate so that we didn't have to worry about the ice. I'll put my teeth back in without worrying about the outside edge. And we just, get rid of that. Let me just go have a look at that while I just get rid of that sign that appeared on the camera. That was weird. I thought I'd switch that bit off, but obviously I didn't. And let's just zoom in on that camera just there. I thought I'd check the cameras, but hey ho, maybe I did this morning and switched it back off again. Right, okay. Right, let's try that one again. So let's have a look at this one in a little bit more detail. So what we did, we created a beautiful frame using Josie's grid, and we did a little bit of picot cutting. And then we finished it off with the Make Art Not War Groovi plate in aid of the Ukraine effort that we have available on our website. Okay, so we did that one, didn't we? That's where we started. So there were some hints and tips on how to create the frame and get it lined up by the time we went round and joined it back up again. Okay, and I think that was useful. Then we created a little bookmark. So we then extended the design on the plate, and I just used some of our rainbow paper in the background. And on this one again, I did, let's see if I can try and get it without the glare. There we go. We did a little bit of picot cutting to allow the colour to come in from behind. And then finally, we created our little coaster. Now this one didn't have any picot cutting on it at all. But you have those choices. That's the great thing about the grids. Okay, so let's have a look, bring that one in. There we go. So I've used the same colorways on these two pieces. So I used the lovely pastel rainbow paper in the background. You can see that's where that ombre came from. And then this one, I think this was from the California sunset one, to go behind the background, and then had it on the back as well. So if you want to know how these were created, then you can catch up on those on our YouTube page from the previous episodes. So yeah, so that was a little bit of sort of I think it just shows the versatility, doesn't it? A card, a present, and another present. So I really enjoyed working with that one, and it's just made so much easier with the thanks to Josie and her beautiful designs. Okay, so we've had a bit of a recap on that. I know many of you are still sort of joining us, so I'm gonna show you. Did you watch Tina on Saturday on the new Create and Craft? Been a couple of years since Tina's been on TV, and it was as if she'd never been away. I'm gonna sneeze. No, it's gone. Sorry. No, it's gone. Yes, as I was saying, the lovely Tina Cox was back on TV on Saturday with 4 beautiful new plates, and I gave you a sneak peek of the plates last week. So this is her flowerette collection. So let's just have a look. So we've got this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I know many of you sort of tuned in. We even had we even had an email from Ken that apparently lived in Kilminster. I don't even know whether that place existed. So that was nice. But these beautiful designs. So if you're new to the Groovi system, I did a blog on Barbara's blog yesterday because Barbara and Dave are away in New York at the moment. And I put the link back to the catch up. So if you go to barbaragrayblog.com, there's a link on that blog there that takes you back to the TV show from 5 o'clock on Saturday. And Tina very kindly left me with her beautiful pieces of artwork. So I thought we'd indulge and have a look at those just while people are pulling up a chair and getting comfortable. So many, I think Tina really got carried away with the designs. So, I mean, when is a square not a square? This is using one of our lovely die cut card blanks. Isn't that beautiful? And she's used one of the circular parchlets in the middle. Okay, so that was one piece there. And then I thought this was very clever what Tina did. Can you spot the difference? Apart from the obvious sentiment, this one is a lot softer in colour than this one. And the reason being is that when Tina created this card, you know, when we're working with our coloured and designer parchment, we had the shiny side up. Well, on this one, she had the dull side up, the more muted colour. So what it does is it gives you a very soft, see if I can get this one, because there's a little bit of sparkle on there. So if there's that one, if I bring this one in, there we go. You can really see the difference, can't you? This one here, it will all work out in the end, is a lot whiter than the other one. Okay, so there's those 2 little pieces Tina created. Then this was clever as well. This has been created on the rainbow parchment, and this one's been created on clear parchment. So you can really get a different look to it depending on the colour of your parchment that you use. Then we've got a variation on a theme on this one. Actually, we've got 3 of them. Let's bring all 3 of them in. So look, using the little Pico squares, which is currently our half price highlight product of the week. A little bit more bling on these ones as well from Tina. Some of our sticker words. Really, really lovely. So we have those ones. And this one really blew me away, because often when we look at a piece of artwork, we feel that we need to fill the parchment. And just very simply using the plate just to create a sort of like a border and this open space with the lovely little butterflies in there. I thought that was so powerful and effective. Then we have a little bit of grid work here using Tina's border grids. Then using some, I love this one, very fresh, really, really beautiful. Okay, and then the final one from Tina is that one there. So beautiful, they really are. And to be in the presence of sort of watching Tina work her magic was really, really special. Because often we just sort of see what we're doing ourselves, don't we? But if you're interested in seeing Tina up close and personal, as well as a lot of our other design team members, Linda Williams, Josie Davidson, Tina Cox, Dee Paramore, Sam Crow, Leonie Pujol, demonstrating, then we have our open days coming up on not far now, just final preparations. We've got Friday the 10th of June and Saturday the 11th of June. It's at Ditton Community Centre in Alresford, which is near Maidstone. Tickets are available on the website, or you can call Janine. In addition to the demonstrations, we've got the lovely Lou Withers doing a doodling on parchment make and take. The lovely Jane Telford is going to do a heart coaster with you as a make and take. Glynis will be doing fantastic snip clinics. If you want to give picot cutting, even if it's your first time, or you want to just sort of hone up on it or try the different scissors, then Glynis is your girl for that with the snip clinic. What else we got? I'll be demonstrating dies. Barbara will be socializing and sort of making sure everyone's happy and can find what they're looking for. So it's going to be a real sort of fantastic. I'm really, really looking forward to it. We're just sort of starting to build up on what the demonstrators are demonstrating and putting all the bits together. And obviously we'll have a shop there because we know we like to shop. So we've got that coming up. So that's that. I'm doing well, ticking my box off, my list off this morning. But I think that's enough time now for everyone sort of, who's that? Jill's bought a ticket. Lovely husband is driving me over. Excited. Yeah, Jill, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Since we've all managed to sort of get together and enjoy all things clarity. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And then I think on the Sunday, I'll just sleep for the day. So where are we heading today? Right, last week we spoke about our back issues from our craft clubs. If you're new to Clarity, then we have a craft club for stamps, one for dies, one for stencils, and one for Groovi. And Barb thought it'd be a great idea if we showcased a previous issue. Many of you already in the club already have it, but we did make it available for you to purchase it. If you want to see what the club's all about, sort of, it's like a little sample. So all the back issues are available on our website, and I'm sure Stuart will pop a link up to that section for you to have a look. Have a look at all of the back issues that we have. So the one we're gonna look at here is a piece that Linda created using the plate that came with issue 65, which is this lovely, beautiful sort of seaside or seashore scene. You've got the boat, you've got the lighthouse, and you've got Special Father's Day. Now, as we know, with the Groovi system, oh, can you hear that rain? Really coming down now. So, yes, so we know that we don't have to include the sentiment if we don't want to. And if we have a look at the finished piece that Linda created, this is where the easy layout plates stemmed from. Barb saw this project and she was sort of just blown away with it. And she said sort of like, yeah, but then you got to do this, you got to do that. Surely we can create some plates that will give you the layout to make it easier. And as usual, Linda worked her lovely magic. And we now have 6 of Linda's easy layout plates available. Some are Christmas, some are sort of girly, some are garden-y, some are, yeah. But for me, it's sort of like the layout, the concept of it, that you can then fill with different pieces, just like Linda has here. Because if we have a look at the plate, she's taken the boat, she's taken the fence, the lighthouse, and then the reeds. And in a way, she sort of deconstructed the design. Yes, Sue, I've just seen that. Do we have name badges? Yes, we will have name badges for everybody to wear. So you can put faces to names that maybe you see here in Groovi Tuesday or on the Shack Shack. And yeah, definitely. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to break this down step by step. And in order to do that, we're going to work through the instructions that comes with the starter kit, not the starter, oh, excuse me, with the project. Okay, and what you'll find is that if I open this up, it's what we call a concertina. So each monthly edition comes with a concertina which folds into A5. Okay, and when you join the club, you get a folder to store your 12 months worth of editions in. But you don't get just one project. You've got your pictorial and your written step by step. You get a list of ingredients used for the different projects because we give you 2 different projects. This, now, I love this. Let's have a look at the card. This is absolutely stunning. I think it's the sort of the neutralness of the design in the color palettes and this lovely frame around the outside. But you could, how do I do this? Hang on, I've got to get my hands on it. If I do that, look, if you just take that, can't do it. Oh, I don't know. But if you just take that as a topper, or that in the middle of a coaster, there's an idea. Okay, so this was the second project that Linda Williams created using that plate. So I think it's a really nice idea that we can work through the projects and then sort of come up with some different ideas. Okay, so this is where we're heading over the next couple of weeks, and we're just going to break it down step by step. So for this particular project, what we're going to need today, you've got a list of ingredients that's used in order to complete that. Okay. Excuse me. But what we're going to need for today's session, okay, is we're going to need the PlateMate for A5 square grids. Now, don't worry if you don't have this. You can use your normal PlateMate that comes in the starter kit. We're also going to be using our Groovi inset because the little baby plates fit in there. We're going to need some Groovi tabs. We're going to need a piece or 2, entirely up to you, of A5 parchment, our tumble dry sheet, and our Groovi number 1 and number 2 tool. And really, that's all we're going to need for the course of today's session. Now, we can adapt it as we go along. So I'll show you some different options you have if you don't have this particular PlateMate. Okay, so don't panic thinking, oh, I haven't got that, I haven't ordered it. Don't worry, there's ways of working around it. There always is with Groovi. Okay, how does that sound? I know I've been sort of go on a little bit too much, but it just sort of sets the tone. And now once I get in the groove, the level of my voice will tone down and I'll chill out and I'll get in the groove and we'll just play. And if it doesn't go right the first time, so what? It's a piece of parchment. Okay. Okay. I know Jilly said that she's been packing quite a few of the back issues of 65. So fingers crossed. I've just seen that Jean hasn't received hers yet. I'm sure it's on its way to you very, very soon, Jean. But as you know, you can watch today, and then when it does turn up, you can go back and watch it on our YouTube page. Okay. It's yeah, it's been a strange old day today, but there you go. It is what it is. Right, so to start off with, we're going to have a look at Josie's A5 square plate mate for grids. Okay, now if you don't have that, then what you can do is you can adapt it, and maybe you've taken advantage of our highlight of the week, our half price, which is the Pico Groovi plates, the Pico dies, or maybe you've just got the nested squares plate. Okay, there is always a way of sort of just adapting it slightly. Let me grab my nested squares out of my folder. It should be in here. As long as I've put it back, it should, yeah, there we go. Okay, so we ooh, shiny head there. Okay, so we can adapt the design. Yours may just be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. Okay, so if you're going with the plate in the plate mate, then the border we're going to be looking at is, let's have a look at Linda's instruction. So it's not the first one, it's going to be the second one. Okay, so we're going to have a look at this one. If you're using the nested squares, then I reckon we could get away with 1, 2, the third and the fourth one in. Okay, 1, 2, so this one and that one, third and the fourth. We can adapt it, we can. And then I'm gonna, I don't know why I'm gonna sneeze. I had a bit of a, excuse me for 1 minute. Sorry about that. Hopefully I hit the mic so you didn't hear the thunderstorm of a sneeze, and hopefully you can hear me again clearly. Stuart, could you just text me to make sure that the sound is all good again, please? Thank you. Okay, if we're going to go with the Pico squares, then what we're going to do is we're going to use, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We'll do the fourth one, and we'll do the outer one on the fourth one, and then the third one we'll do the outer one on there. Okay, so let me just show you the 3 different variants on it, just so that we can all be sort of starting off with the same place. So if I take a piece of parchment, I'm just going to attach it on here. Make sure that you can hear me. Yep, thank you, Stuart. Okay, so let's take a couple of Groovi tabs. I'm just going to position that on there because we need to start with the outer frame first. Thank you, Jane. Sounds is good. Okay, so let's wipe that. So I said it was going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4. So on this one, it's going to be the fourth and then the third. Didn't wipe that enough. Where's my Groovi card gone? I've got like 3 of them here somewhere. There we go. Groovi card. That one. And then that one. So it just giving you options if you don't have that particular plate mate. Okay. Because there's always a way around it. So this one is using the, I'm going to write on them so that we can refer back to them again. So this one, let me grab a pen. So this one uses the, let's put it on here, Pico squares. Okay, So that's that one. And we'll compare all of them in a moment. Then if you just have the nested squares, which is now hiding, it's like when I'm on TV, you put it down in front of you and then it disappears. Anyone seen my nested squares? I just had it. All right, let's, hang on. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Oh, there it is. I'll put it to one side, put it with the open day tickets. Okay, nested squares in there. Do you do the same? Do you put your plate down and then think, where is it? Can't find it. So we're going to take another piece of parchment, tape that down to our plate mate. And I think I said that was roughly the same, wasn't it? Have I gone the right size? Let me just check that I'm not giving you duff information. Yeah, no, that works. Yeah. So let's have a look. Oh, dearie, dearie me. So this one is going to be the third and the fourth in. Tumble dry sheet, Groovi guard, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one in. So this one will be slightly narrower, but that's fine. And you'll notice that I'm actually turning my plates as I work. Okay. So this is my nested squares. So we're going to write on that one. And I bet I've lost my bit of notes over there. It's hiding again. So nested squares. Okay. So right, I'm going to put this somewhere safe. I'm going to put it in front of me. So in a minute, when I ask you where have I put it, it's in front of me. That one's there. So now we're going to work on the plate that Linda has used. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Another piece of parchment. I said you'd need a couple. You don't really. It just depends what frame you're going to go for. So there we go. Get some out of the bag. Super duper. Okay. So this one goes on there. And remember, what we tend to do is line the parchment up with the side of the plate mate and with the top and the bottom of the plate. I mean, that's one of the great things about this plate mate from Josie's. You've got these fantastic guidelines on the plate itself. Okay, so what I'm going to do, it's got a little bit of a wiggle in it. So I'm just going to hold that in place. That gets held down there, and then wipe over with a tumble dryer sheet. Okay, and this time we're going to ignore the larger frame, and we're just going to trace out the next one. Okay, nice and easy. So it really isn't that difficult. I mean, imagine trying to get a straight line in the traditional method to get a beautiful, crisp, equal white line. The skill required for that, hats off, it really is. Okay, so this one is using the A5 square plate mate for grids. Okay, so should we compare the sizes just so you can sort of see? So this is the size we want, and if I pop that over the top, and if I come in on this one, it looks like a shadow, but it isn't. The Pico square one is just slightly bigger, fractionally. Okay, so we know that one works. Then the nested squares, if I pop that one on top, that one is just slightly smaller. Okay, so whichever of those 3 plates, if you've got the starter kit, you can use the squares. If you've got the A5 square plate mate for grids, then you can use that one as well. All we need to start off with is just an outer double frame. Okay, so when we go back and look at Linda's instructions, we can see that's exactly what she's done. Now what we want to do is start to break it down into sections. Okay, now for me, obviously the easy layout plates do that for us instantly, but sometimes we want to sort of take a step back and say, oh, okay, I've got designs that aren't necessarily going to fit within or the artwork I want to include. So we may want to create our own frames. Now Linda's done the hard work for us. So what we're going to do, this middle panel here, so I'm still on the one there, I'm going to line up the inner frame with that square in the middle. Tape that down. And then put our first little box in, remembering not to go through the frame. So should we do it with the nested squares as well? Let's have a look at the nested squares. Do you think this is a good idea, just to jump through all the different plates, just so you can see? I don't really want to sort of confuse everybody, but I just want to show the options depending on what you're working with. So this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So line that one up there and pop that one just in there. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Line it up, and we're going to put a square in that corner there. Square in that corner there. Okay. Let's have a look at the Pico squares. What size square do we want on this one? So let's have a look. I reckon 1, 2, 3. So the third one on the inside for that one. And it's on the inner section of that third one. There we go, just there. So we've got our Pico squares. I thought I'd done it wrong then. Pico squares. Okay, we've got the nested squares. And then we have the square from the A4 square plate mate. The A5 plate mate for grids. Okay. Right. So now we can start to add design. I mean, if you wanted to, if you had, say you was going with a different plate, for example, say you was going with some of Linda Williams's beautiful flowers and lace plates, and you wanted to do little sections, or maybe you're going for just some of the smaller designs that we have. Use the plate as a guide to see how sort of big a box that you want. Okay. So I think going forward now, what we'll do, I'll probably ignore what I'm about to say. We'll just stick with the box here that we've created. Okay. So if I go with my plate mate, any plate mate, but this is where the adapter plate comes into play from the starter kit. That slots in there, and then a lovely little baby plate sits in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Groovi tab and I'm going to put it across all 3 plates to hold it in place. Okay. Are we following okay? I hope I haven't confused you. I don't think I've confused you. I think you're all fairly sort of switched on. I think it's just so that people think, oh, I haven't got that plate, I can't join in. You can. You just adapt to what you have in your stash. Okay. Right. So the next part we're going to create is when we look at Linda's instruction, we're going to put the boat in place. Okay. See, this is another great thing. Although you've got the video tutorial, which we're going through now, but if you happen to have this, then you've got the written and the pictorial instruction as well. Okay. So now we're going to take a lovely little square and we're going to position our boat in place. So you decide where you want it to be. I reckon probably about there. Okay. Just going to give it another little wipe with the tumble dry sheet. Now this time we're just going to focus on the little boat. Okay. I'm not going to include Dad in this one, although I could, because Father's Day is coming up next month and I could send it to my dad, but I don't want to. Not that I don't want to send it to my dad, but I don't want to do this particular card for him. That sounded really bad, didn't it? So using my number 1 tool, we're just going to trace out the elements of the little boat. Okay, we're not putting I mean, you can put the background in if you choose to, but for this particular project, we're going to leave that out. Oh dear, we do say the funniest things, don't we? So those of you that follow Barb in the shack will know that Barbara and Dave are currently in New York. They flew yesterday, and so I'm staying over at the house looking after Ragnar and Eric, and I'm pleased to report that they were in last night. They weren't out on the town, so I was very pleased about that they came in. Yeah, it's always a worry, isn't it, when you're looking after somebody else's pets. I mean, I've got a cat and a dog myself, so I know exactly how they can behave. And but when it's somebody else's, I suppose it's, I mean, back in the day, babysitting, it's somebody else's, isn't it? So so yeah. So, but they were safe and sound, curled up in the kitchen when I got up this morning. Okay, so we've created the first part of our little scene. There we go. You don't have to include all the different elements. It's entirely up to you. So we've just got the little boat in the seashore. Okay, nice and easy. Now, what we're going to do is, according to Linda's instruction, we're going to add the little lighthouse in. Okay, so it says emboss the lighthouse in the opposite corner using the number 1 for this and the number 2 tool for the windows, as we want to emboss them later. Okay, I'm glad I read that, because when I was playing earlier, I did everything in the number 1 tool. Okay. What was that? How's the caterpillar situation? I must admit, I haven't seen any caterpillars, so I think the caterpillar situation has been resolved. I mean, there's not much left of the poor box hedge. Looks a bit like me. It's got no foliage. Okay, so I'm going to do the windows first, so that I don't forget. So I'm using the number 2 tool to emboss those little windows. Okay, and now all I'm going to do, I don't want to do all of the, I mean, I could, but I want to stop just above the fence. that's coming in from the side. So if I put my groovy guard there, it will stop me going any further than I need to. Trace a little door. This also reminds me of like a helter-skelter, doesn't it? So we've got the body of the lighthouse. Yeah, I was very pleased when the cats came in last night. Didn't even need to call them. I think Barb and Dave have them well trained. Well, that and obviously some food that they were after. And put the little light in, put the roof on, and there we have it. So that's our little lighthouse. See, I think it's great that you can take a design that Linda's created and deconstruct it basically into little sections. Could we have a groovy train for next Father's Day, please? I hope Linda's watching. So yeah, if Linda's watching, Linda, we want a little groovy train. I think that'd be great. So now we've got a little boat in place and a little lighthouse. Lighthouse? A lighthouse. We have a little lighthouse, but now we need to put a frame around it. Okay, so this is where I'm going to go back. So lift that out to one side. Pop that one back in place. And then we can have a look now on how big a space we want. And we can use the lines on the plate to make sure that the box is going on straight, it's not going on wonky. So let's keep it nice and easy, and I'm going to line up that line there with the line that's on the plate. Okay, so it sort of slots back in, and we're just going to pop a single frame on there. Okay, so that's now sectioned off the lighthouse. Very nice. I like this. I wonder how long it took Linda to come up with the actual concept and the layout of the design. Because I know for me, if I was doing something like this, I'd have to probably draw pencil lines in and have a look. But yeah, very, very clever. Okay, so let's have a look at the next step. So the next step is that so we've created a rectangle around the lighthouse. Emboss the sentiment if you wish to use it. Now I don't want to use the sentiment that's on the plate, so I'm going to leave mine out. Okay, so then the next part would be to create a frame around. So we can still do that because I can fill that with a different sentiment later on. Okay, so to do that, okay, now when I practiced earlier, this is where I went a little bit wrong. But you know what? It's not really wrong, is it? Okay, so what am I going to do first? So I'm going to do, it's this bottom area here. So for this, we want a double line. Okay, so if I line this up, I'm putting that line in there and this line along here. And what I'm going to do, I've gone wrong, but hey ho, it'll work. See, it's because I'm talking, I should have gone over a bit. So what I've done, I've created a little lip underneath. But it doesn't matter, it works. It works. I'm not worried about that, not at all. Should see what I did earlier. It was different to that. So now, I mean, if you know what sentiment you're going to pop in there, you could pop that in now if you wanted to. Okay, but I'm just going to go for a space. So I'm going to line up here, and I'm going to line up in there. And then what I'm going to do, I knew I'd change it slightly. I was going to say go wrong. I haven't gone wrong. I'm just changing it slightly to Linda's design. Okay, so when we have a look at Linda's one, Linda's gone a little bit deeper. I've gone smaller. So I'm just going to put with love or happy birthday in that area. Okay, but you can see where I went wrong, where I adapted. Let's say I adapted. I didn't go wrong. I adapted. Linda's one ties in exactly with that straight edge, but it's all right. It's a piece of parchment. Okay, so what does Linda do next? Okay, so now put the picket fence and add a square around it. So we're going to put the picket fence in the bottom right hand corner. So swap that one out, bring that one back in. So it'll be the same, but it'll be different. There's nothing wrong in that. I think it's great. Creative, what's the word I'm looking for? Creative adjustments. Okay, so let's put a little bit of the, so I'm lining up my parchment here. I'm coming over here. How are we getting on? Who's doing it with me at the same time? Anybody? Is anybody doing it, or are you just enjoying the show? Okay. So what we're going to do now is, I reckon I'm going to stop at that point there. I'm going to add these contours in. So if I do the bottom bit first, then I know not to go too far. And now we'll add in the picket fence. This is great. This picket fence, you could use it for other projects as well, not just the seaside. It's be great for some of Linda's other plates, like the In the Garden collection. That'd be great with those. Okay. Slowly, slowly. Don't rush, because I don't want anything above the picket fence. Slow down, Paul. Do little joins of the fence. It's a real rickety fence, this one, isn't it? Okay. So now we have a little picket fence, but it looks open, doesn't it? It just needs closing in now, and we know exactly how to do that. So we'll bring in, I mean, what I could do, because I can, look, if I go, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pop these ones in this plate, mate, because I can. So let's join those up. And then it means I can slide that off to the side. And then because I've got this plate mate, maybe you've got both plate mates, you could do the same. And then put that one in place. So that then all you're doing is just sliding that one to one side. So let's put a little square around this one. So how much of a gap? Linda's got a bit of a, so if I come over to about there, and I'm using all of these lines on Josie's plate to make sure that my little square or my little rectangle is going on straight. I reckon a little bit higher. There we go. Stop. Don't faff too much. So this is going to be a single line. So that's now boxed that area in. Okay. So then once we've done that, we're then going to pop the little rushes in this area here. So we've got sort of like a balance. But see now this one, because I've gone in on that one, that looks as if that one's been overlapped onto that one, doesn't it? And if I'd come down the box a little bit lower, that would have looked as if that one was stuck on top. See, choices, choices. So let's pop that one to one side, slide this one. Oh, this is clever, this is. Why did I not think of this at the beginning? Okay, so I reckon we're going to pop that one just there, and I'm going to use the line on the plate from Linda to hold that, to make sure that that's straight. Now let's see, does she do any of this in the number 2 tool? I think she does. Let's say blah 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 blah. It doesn't say blah 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 blah. Okay, if there is a particular image you want to add in, do that first and then fill in your lines around your image. The world is your oyster here. There are so many combinations. On Linda's sampler, you can see she has added the bulrushes after having added all the lines. Okay, so let's put the little bulrushes, and I'm going to do the bulrushes in the number 2 tool because I think that's crying out for a little bit of white work. So it's just the tips of the bulrushes. Can we see that? Okay, yeah. Let me just slide up a little bit. I can't believe where the time has gone. Today, it seems to have gone quicker. So we may just run over slightly, but you're okay with that, aren't you? Because what I'd like to do is just get the composition and the little boxes in place. Okay. You don't mind, do you? Of course you don't. If it's chucking it down with rain outside, you don't really want to be going outside here. And I've got a little sneaky peek to show you of the TV show on Friday. Okay, so we've got that one in place. So now we need to add some extra lines in. So you could use the line from here, but I'm going to go with this one. So what we're going to do now is, let's have a look. We're going to close in this little box here. Yeah, I reckon about there. Yep, I can feel it slot back in. So this one. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to go right down, am I? I'm going to put a single line across there. I'm going to go down to that, but I'm going to leave that one open because what I'm going to do now is slide up to there because Linda has a double line on there, and that continues to there. And then we're going to section off this one. So mine is slightly different to Linda's, but that's okay. It still works. I'm going to pop that one up there. And then let's have a look. So when we have a look now, you can see how we've started to create sections. Okay. And if I bring Linda's card in, it's not very different. It's the same sort of configuration. We've got a little box here. We've got a little border. Linda's a little wider. What we can do, we can put a line down here if we choose to, or maybe you want to put a line down there. But what we'll do is we'll add a couple of double lines up here. Okay, so let's have a look. So if we go line that one up there, what do you reckon? Come over. Reckon that'll work across there, just like so. And then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to use those same two lines, but I can decide now how much of a gap I want, because we'll definitely be able to find things that we can fill in. So I'm going to pop that one just there. There we go. So we've infilled that area and we've broken it down so it's not so it's not such a big area. And then what we'll do, we'll just add one more line just down here so it looks something like Linda's. It's just that the spacings are different. So, okay. Put that to one side. So let's have a look. Let's compare the two. So the concept and the visualization is the same. We've got the boat, we've got the fence, we've got the lighthouse, we've got the bulrushes. And then the only thing that's slightly different are the sizes of our boxes. I mean, if I lay this over the top, I wonder if we can sort of see. Yeah, there's not much of a difference. I mean, that boat is virtually spot on, but we're not copying it exact. It's just, we just have to, we just play and just adapt as we go. Okay. And I think that if that hasn't, your head isn't going, oh no, I can't do this, then we do have obviously the layout plates. But I think sometimes we can make it easy or we can challenge ourselves. And some days we may feel that we need to challenge ourselves. But this is fantastic because you've got that step-by-step guide from Linda with the expert tuition. I'm interpreting it how it's working for me, and I'm not worried that it's not exactly the same, it's not exactly in that place, and because that's what it's all about. It's all about sort of enjoying it. So before I go, I wanted just to share with you a couple of things. If you've only sort of tuned in, not recently, but we've currently got our half price highlight offer of the week, which is proving really popular. So if you're into your parching, you may already be familiar with our Pico dies and Groovi plates. So these are all half price for the week, plus your club discount. So if you're in the club, you'll get an additional 10 or 15%. So you can buy the dies on their own, or you can buy the Groovi on their own, or you can buy them together. So Stuart will pop the link up, directing you straight to the half price highlight product of the month. I did a little Facebook Live yesterday about 3:30, and I popped that into Barb's blog because I'm looking after Barb's blog whilst they're away. So we've got them in squares, we have them in circles, we have them in ovals, and we also have them, if I can pick it up, in rectangles. Okay, and all of the Pico dies have been designed to coordinate with our basic nested shapes as well. Just gives you that extra matting and layering layer, which again I explained in the blog last night. Okay, right, so now are you ready for Friday's TV show? On Friday I will be on the new Create and Craft at 9 AM and 1 PM. Now, normally that's Barb's sort of mixed media show, but you know me, I'm not mixed media and I don't like getting messy. I'm like Linda, paint, guns, all that type of stuff, not for me. So instead, we've got a fantastic set of new doodle dies. And you're gonna think, oh, not more doodle dies. We've got the squares, we've got the rectangles, we've got the ovals, squares, rectangles, ovals, and circles. But these are a little bit different. These are what we're calling doodle strips or doodle panels. Okay, so let me tease you with a few little samples from the design. I can't wait to play with these. So the first one is the Doodle Scallop Frame It panels. Okay, so you can see beautiful dies. Okay, beautiful dies. But what makes them different? Why would you need a strip rather than a frame? Okay, let me show you. These are a couple of samples that the lovely Dee Paramore has created. I think this is fantastic. So when you look, you just cut the strips out and you can use them. Let's look. Best wishes. Best wishes. With love. Thank you. And it's just using those little strips. Now, depending on the design, because on the doodle dies, some of them are only little, so you wouldn't be able to use that design to create longer strips. This one here from Linda Spencer, using the strips to create a rectangular frame. Look at that's lovely. I think that's really nice. And she's even used the waist from the circles to add to there. So these are brand new, being launched on Friday. Then this one by the lovely Debbie McMullen, even using the waist to infill. Look at that. And this one's very cool. I had to look at this one twice. This one's from Glynis. I had to look at it thinking, well, where's the doodle dies? Where is it? This is the waist. And she's created this fantastic patchwork effect. And that's using Brighton Rock designer paper. Isn't that clever? Really, I love these. Okay, so that's your Doodle Scallop Frame It panels. Then we have the Doodle Heart frame. So you've got, see, look, you've got an infill, you've got a solid, and then you've got a border. That one, I can't think what I just called the solid infill solid panel. And then you've got these designs here. Okay, so let's pop that onto one side and we have a look at that. No, I've got them all mixed up. I've mixed all those up. Those we're all using from those two sets. Okay, I got the samples mixed up. Right, the next set is the apertures. So these will cut into the card. Okay, so these ones go in, these ones cut in, the other ones cut out. So we've got this piece by Debbie McMullen where she's sort of, you know how we've just sectioned off on the Groovi? Okay. So she sectioned off and then just infilled it. Now this one, oh, I dread to think how long it took Dee to create that. This one. Okay. So see the heart one here? I've got Dee's done. Dee has repeat, cut. So she started off a piece of card, put the die down, cut it out, put the die down, cut it out, put the die down, cut it, to create that fantastic panel. Isn't that amazing? Okay, and then, okay, so then the next collection are the edges. Okay, these are brilliant. So you've got the heart, but what it does, it gives you a lovely edge as well. So this piece, which has been created by Tina Morris, look, parchment, paper. I think Tina really enjoyed working with these, and this is using our nested lace dies. But look, just that decorative edge along your piece of artwork. Then this, I might nick this one. This is from D. How easy is that? Beautiful parchment with the scallop across the edge, and then using the aperture to cut in, and a little bit of Shenandoah. That's it. How beautiful is that? Okay, two more, and then I'll let you go. This one is from Glynis. So she's used the edger to cut into the parchment. She's used the aperture to cut into the parchment. And then she's used the heart strip to stick on top. Lovely. See, the heart, you would never be able to do that with the existing designs, with the frames or the apertures, because they're not big enough. Okay. And then finally, which for me just sort of sums it up, Jane Telford. Look at that. Isn't that dramatic? Those two colour tones, the blue and the yellow. And this is just using the edges again. So tomorrow, I get the chance to play with them in preparation for the TV show on Friday, 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock. I hope you can join me. I know I'm going to have great fun playing with these. And there is so many different combinations that when you see this, I've got a stack of samples, artwork from the design team like this. Yeah. So thank you for joining me. Next week on Groovi Tuesday, we're going to have a look at infilling some of those other areas. So if you've got any of Josie's embossed pattern grid plates, or even if you've got you could still use the Queen Elizabeth to infill as well. Maybe we'll use that next week. So thank you again, as always, for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will see you on TV on Friday. Got a few more blogs to do this week for Barb. And then I'll be back with you on Tuesday for another Groovi Tuesday. So take care, enjoy the weather, whatever it's up to, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.